Welcome to part 2 of our demonstration of the ALSDE's fingerprint registration process. These steps should be used after the applicant has created the setup of their AIM account. Remember, the applicant should have access to a computer or other mobile device with internet connection and an email account, as well as a debit or credit card or PayPal account. Users who do not have experience with the use of technology will need assistance. The applicant will be shown a list of tiles that represent the applications they have access to. The applicant should select the fingerprint background check tile to initiate the process and then select the account type that fits their need, in this case, educator certification and criminal history checks, and then click Set. The application will then move the applicant through the completion of each section of the registration process. As each section is completed, a white check mark will be added to the column on the left-hand side of the page. The first section is ethnicity and race. The applicant should make a selection from the drop-down menus, select Save, and then select Continue to Citizenship. The next section is citizenship. The applicant should make a selection from the drop-down menu, select Save, and then select Continue to Phone Numbers. On the phone number screen, the applicant will see that a telephone number has already been saved. This was saved during the creation of their AIM account. If the applicant would like to edit or delete the number, they may do so by selecting the Edit or Delete options. The applicant can also add a home, work, or cell number just by selecting Add. When the applicant is ready to move forward, they can do so by selecting Continue to Home Address. On the home address page, the applicant should select the Add button and then enter an address to include country, street, city, state, and zip code. When this is complete, the applicant should select Save Changes and then select Continue to Characteristics. On the Characteristics page, the applicant should make a selection in each of the drop-down menus available and then select Save and Continue to Birth Details. On the Birth Details screen, the applicant should select from the available options in each drop-down menu, select Save, and then select Continue to Background Details. The background details page is where the applicant will tell us what position type they are applying for and which school system or institution they are affiliated with. It is very important that the applicants have a clear understanding of their position type and system or institution affiliation. Once they select an option for the type, they will then be asked if they will be working in a public or private setting. If they select public, only one public school option will be displayed. If they select private, only private school options will be displayed. If they select that they are seeking admission to an educator preparation program, only institutions will be displayed. After the site is selected, the applicant will be asked if they have ever been convicted of a crime. A response is required to this question. If the answer is yes, the applicant will be shown instructions for submitting information to our agency. Regardless of the applicant's response, they will be able to move ahead with the registration after selecting Continue and go to FBI Demographics. On the FBI Demographics page, the applicant will be asked to submit their race, birthplace, and country of citizenship. This is the information that will be submitted directly to the FBI when the registration is complete. The applicant should select Save and then continue to State Identification after entering their selections. On the State Identification page, the applicant should enter their ID, type, state, and ID number, as well as expiration date. Once the selections are made and reviewed, the applicant will select Save and continue to RSA ID. The RSA ID is not required as part of this process. On this screen, the applicant should simply select No to the question and then select Finished. After selecting Finished, the applicant is taken to the final screen in AIM. On this screen, the applicant is given one last chance to reference their ALSDE ID number. Remember, this number is going to be needed for verification with Fieldprint. Select Continue to the Fieldprint background check button to move forward. Now that the applicant has completed the AIM registration, the next step is to move them seamlessly to the Fieldprint environment. Please make note of the URL, fieldprintalabama.com. Fieldprint services customers nationwide. If the applicant tries to complete registration on any site other than this one, they will not be successful. Simply select Schedule Appointment to start completing the Fieldprint requirements. If the applicant is new to Fieldprint, they should select Sign Up. If the applicant has already completed a fingerprint check with another agency, they should use the Returning User Login option and enter their credentials. Since most of our applicants will be first-time users, we're going to select the Sign Up feature for this demonstration. The next page is the required e-sign and disclosure form. This is a form that's required by Fieldprint. The applicant should review the disclosure and select I agree if they agree with the terms to continue. The applicant will then be moved to the Create Account page. On this page, the applicant is entering an email address, creating a username and password, and then confirming it, and also entering their name and mobile number. The applicant is also selecting security questions and answers. 3 questions and answers are required. The security questions will be asked at certain intervals, and it is important that the applicant provide the exact answer to these questions when required. A quick tip is to make sure that the applicant selects Show when entering their answers. This will give the opportunity to look for any inadvertent typos that may have been entered when providing their responses. When done, the applicant will select Continue. After selecting Continue, Fieldprint will attempt to confirm the creation of the applicant's account by sending a confirmation email. The applicant should open their email and look for a message from Fieldprint. As you can see in this example, a new message has been received. The applicant will simply open the email and look for the 8-digit verification code. Copy the 8-digit verification code and return to the registration page and paste it into the verification code field. The applicant can also simply type the 8-digit code into the field if they prefer. Once this is done, select Complete Registration. The applicant will now be asked to log in with their username and password. The applicant will then be directed to the Reason page. This is a new feature added as of July 2023 and our attempt to simplify the process from an earlier version. The applicant will select the reason for their fingerprint attempt. Remember, Fieldprint has many customers. On this page, the applicant will need to be clear about the agency they intend to send their fingerprints to. A Fieldprint code is not required. The applicant will simply scroll down to the page to find the Alabama Department of Education and then select Continue with this reason. Again, if the applicant selects any other reason, their results will not be sent to the Department of Education, and there will be no way to retrieve them. After completing the Reason page, the applicant will be directed to the Demographics page. This is the page that will connect the two systems, AIM and Fieldprint. We told you earlier that it was important for the applicant to keep up with their ALSDE ID number. This page will ask the applicant to enter their ALSDE ID number, their last name, and their date of birth exactly as they exist in AIM. If there is not an exact match, the applicant will receive an error message. If the connection is successful, the applicant will be moved to the next step. On this page, the applicant will enter their preferred contact information so they can receive email confirmation about their appointment and schedule. Enter the information and select Continue. The applicant is then presented with the Alabama State Department of Education release form, a biometric disclosure form, and FBI-required privacy rights forms. The applicant should review, select I agree, and then continue for each. These forms will be available for download later in the process should the applicant want to refer to them. Now it is time to schedule the appointment. The applicant should enter their home address, city, or zip code and select Find to locate the nearest fingerprint site. Fieldprint currently has 65 fingerprint sites in Alabama, as well as a nationwide network of other sites that are compatible to Alabama standards. Whether an applicant is in Mobile, Alabama, or Los Angeles, California, there may be a fingerprint site convenient to them. We're using Montgomery, Alabama for this demonstration. Select Find, and the system will display the sites within 35 miles of the applicant's location. Select your preference of date, time, and site, and then click Find Availability. Fieldprint will then display the selected options and the fee required for the criminal history background check. The applicant will then begin the payment process by selecting the PayPal or debit or credit card options. We're selecting the debit credit card option and entering the required information, except for the actual debit card information for obvious reasons. Once all information is completed, the applicant will select Continue. When the payment is accepted, the applicant will be given confirmation that the appointment has been scheduled. The confirmation and other important information about what to bring to the appointment will also be sent to the applicant's email address. At this point, the registration is complete. The next step is for the applicant to report to the Fieldprint site for their appointment. This concludes our demonstration of the Fieldprint registration process. We'd like to thank all our LEA and IHE partners who are communicating with their applicants every day about our new process. Your work is appreciated. I'd also like to thank our background review team member for being the test driver for today's demonstration and helping us maneuver through the registration process, as well as our technology department for producing the video and audio for this presentation. Thanks for watching.